Before I begin my formal remarks, I have 3 pieces of advice for today's graduates from my experiences as a university professor that I hope you will remember during your time in college. First, remember the value of a handwritten note, especially addressed to those celebrating you here today. Second, RSVP to invitations, particularly if they come from professors who have not yet submitted your grade. And third, if you decide to apply to graduate school, choose the program that best matches your intellectual interests. At the same time, you might just consider the color of each school's academic gowns so that you don't end up like me, looking like a jester for eternity. Bishop Buddy, Mr. Wilson, faculty and staff, parents, families, friends, and especially the graduates, it is a thrill to share this day with all of you today. Class of 2017, you are graduating today from a place that stands for commitment and integrity, a place that celebrates accomplishment and treasures each of you for who you are, not just what you do. Each of you has remarkable potential. All of you will change the world, whether in visible or less obvious ways. Yet what really matters in life? What is a life well lived? I turn to the St. Albans School hymn, words and music that have animated all of our time on the close, whether in prayer space or in Beef Club, as a guide to living a life of meaning. The first verse begins with, "Men of the future stand and watch each fleeting hour." And class of 2017, you have stood up. You've engaged, studied hard, learned plenty, invested in school activities and in one another, all while proudly representing St. Albans. Now, that's not to say that there weren't moments along the way that gave us pause. This form had a habit of suddenly assembling into a pile of bodies, what you all called a mosh. To say that school leaders were not enamored of this practice would be an understatement. So what did this mean? What could a mosh possibly signify? Perhaps this and the strange language that this group created were ways of promoting unity within the form and individuating this class from others at the school. And in this pursuit, class of 2017, you have been successful. You are tight and unique. So back to men of the future of our beloved hymn. How does that apply to your lives? Maybe it is a reminder that we are always on the cusp of something new. You have been men of the future at St. Albans. Now you are young men about to go to college. Then what? If nothing else, my life as a neuroscientist, member of a university faculty, as well as a wife, parent, family member, and friend, demonstrates just how unexpected the next experimental result, latest trend in research or teaching, or nature of relationships can be. Each change has required realigning my worldview, whether it is my lab's understanding of brain development, an academic unit's approach to their work, or the roles I am blessed to play in my personal life with new realities. Thus, I urge all of the graduates to recognize and even embrace and maybe enjoy the uncertainties in life. As you have here at St. Albans, continue to stand and commit, appreciating that change is guaranteed. And thus the fleeting hour of our beloved hymn. I trust that I speak for many here today when I say that we are astonished at how fleeting your time at St. Albans has been. And I imagine that today likely feels even more acute for the graduates. The frenetic ending of this period in your lives is intense and full of complicated emotions. Just remember that while your time at St. Albans might be short, your connections with this place will be long-lived. So we leave this verse reminded of the value of engagement and the reality of change. The hymn proceeds, prayer gives us strength of will and sweetness of the mind. Graduates, we are proud of your remarkable academic accomplishments, your strong athletic performances, including the first IAC championship for hockey, the closest Founders Cup competition in years, and 47 years of undefeated home track meets. We also admire the fantastic music, theater, and arts you have created. But we appreciate this form's extraordinary commitment to a new activity here at St. Albans that is intended to more fully prepare all of you for college, foosball. Still, it is my belief that this group's time together in the chapel best defines the essence of the St. Albans experience. Services in the little sanctuary bring the school community together in introspection. The fact that being a member of the vestry is among the most sought-after positions at the school signals the importance of chapel to our community. It is beautiful to hear St. Albans students join together, pray together, preach to one another, and sing loudly in our school's most special space. Class of 2017, remember what the little sanctuary felt like when it was so full of students that you were jammed together, when the prayers were loud and the hymns were deafening. Remember what it felt like when one of your classmates or a teacher or coach gave a homily on a tough topic or told a story that was hard for them to share. In these moments, there was a sense of vulnerability and safety that fostered self-reflection and promoted growth and connection. So graduates, whatever happens in your futures, make sure to seek out circumstances that allow the person you have been in the little sanctuary to flourish. This verse reminds us of the power of reflection and of a trusting community. The hymn continues with "Fight not for power or gain, or yet for grieved pride." During your time on the close, the world has changed. Relationships have become virtual. The starting premise of assuming the best in one another is being tested. Respectful and polite treatment of difference seems out of style. On this backdrop, remember that you can stay true to yourself. You can speak and act in accordance with your values and make the difference in the world that feels right to you. Recently, an individual has emerged who I think is the perfect example of maintaining integrity. Despite being surrounded by an unruly pack, this person communicates a singular and profound message. I hope the graduates will consider his point of view now and then explain it to your families later. Please channel his arboreal strength, his trunk of wisdom, his rootedness, as you encounter your own uncertainties. Remember his words, I am Groot. Now, it's true that this is just a quote from a walking, talking tree in a superhero movie, but I would argue that he is an exceptional example of clarity, of knowing his mind, and of shaping those around him with his resolve. We are reminded in this verse to work for the right reasons and to speak up for our beliefs and principles. In the polarized world in which we live, this feels challenging, but it is possible because we are Groot. The hymn continues, fear is a crushing thing, love casts it all away, and reminds us to move forward with confidence. And that might feel difficult right now, since today is full of bittersweet emotions. Happiness in your time here on the close, wistfulness that we are all ending one period, mixed parts excitement and concern for the future. So how do we have confidence in that future? No doubt the graduating class of 1917, 100 years ago, experienced emotions similar to all of ours today. And looking back on those graduates, and there were only 4, we now know in a way that they could not have then that their world would never be the same. For the United States had just entered World War I that spring, and geopolitical changes were abrupt later that fall with the Russian Revolution. Yet, by virtue of their upbringings and the training that St. Albans provided, those 1917 graduates were well prepared for their new realities. All of them served in World War I, and remarkably, one of them served in World War II. Those St. Albans men were forged in the same tradition to service to others as you have been, and confronted the challenges of their day as all of you will in yours. The love and care that was part of their formation here at St. Albans strengthened them, and it will strengthen all of you too. Thus, we are reminded that you and we are part of a bigger story. Remember the 1917 graduates and all of the other St. Albans men who have come before you as you embrace your futures. The hymn finishes with, for him who triumphs with his life for God and for the state, and highlights that all of our lives are a set of challenges, and that success is defined not in an outcome, but in how each one of us deals with our circumstances. For the graduating class of 2017, we, the school and the parents, applaud your journeys and celebrate your unity. We can't wait to see all of the good that you will do in this world. Growing up and studying here in the shadows of one of the world's great cathedrals and in our nation's capital are unique experiences. You have been blessed to be part of a splendid school full of remarkable educators and substantial people. You are now joining an especially devoted group of alumni, including many who march with us today as they celebrate their 50th reunion. Our hope for all of you as you commence this new portion of your lives is to carry this school and one another with you in all that you do. And remember the lessons of the school's hymn. Engage deeply. Welcome change. Grow your spiritual center in community. Stay true to yourself and seek to serve with the foundation that St. Albans has provided. For him who triumphs with his life for God and for the state. Thank you.